Abigail here from Evening Star Astrology. I hope you are all doing well today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming to another video. If it's your first time here, hi, my name is Abigail. I'm an astrologer and a yogi and a general student of life. And on this channel, I like to make videos about astrology, tarot, veganism, and general spirituality. And today I have your weekly forecast for the week of October 26th through November 1st. My cat has the zoomies right now, so if you hear loud noises or weird cat sounds in the background, that is her. Also, today's look is a little crazy, but I just filmed a video that has already gone up by the time you're seeing this. So if you want to watch how I got this makeup look and you haven't seen it already, go back to Wednesday's video where I do my makeup and chat about veganism and my vegan opinions. So, okay, here's the thing. In my past 2 weekly forecasts, I've started by talking generally about the astrology and then diving deeper into the specific transits of each day, like throughout that week. And I find that that is not the most effective for me, and I find that it's harder to edit those because my thoughts are a little bit less coherent. So with this video, I'm gonna go back to my original format of talking about the transits happening on different days. But I'm going to try and explain it better so that you don't get lost in all of the astrology vernacular. Really, for this week, we have 3 big days, so it'll be a bit easier to talk about those in a more general sense. It's not like, on this day, this squares this, and on this day, this trines this. But yeah, let's dive on in. Today, I have my heart chakra tea from the Buddha Teas brand. I have so much of their tea, but it's really good, and it's like all organic, and I think fair trade and all of that, and their chakra blends are delicious. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. So, the astrology of this week. Our first day that is significant is Wednesday the 28th. This day is really interesting because we have 2 planets moving into the same sign. Venus is moving from the sign of Virgo into its home sign of Libra, and Mercury is retrograde and it's currently in Scorpio, but it's gonna move backwards into Libra. So if you imagine the planets in the sky, they're like this, and then they're gonna like whoosh, go into the same sign. So Wednesday, there's a shift in energy, really. 2 planets are moving from feminine signs into a masculine sign. They're moving from being about 60 degrees in theory apart to moving within the same sign, within 30 degrees of each other. And this is really interesting because Venus is very happy in Libra. Venus can be flirty and charming and sociable and have a sense of balance and harmony. So rather than being critical and discerning in our relationships, when Venus moves into Libra, we tend to be more harmonious, we tend to seek out social interactions, and this transit just tends to be really good for connection. It's not always like a super deep connection. Venus and Libra just kind of add something nice into the sky. And you know, anything that's in Libra right now is gonna make a square to Capricorn and an opposition to Mars. But I'm kind of happy that Venus is moving into her home sign. And then with Mercury moving backwards, first of all, anytime Mercury is retrograde, we're already retracing the steps of where Mercury has already been. So this is kind of like a do-over of the last month in regards to communication. We're given another chance to look back at how we've been communicating over the last month. It's kind of a little bit of a check of like where we've been, how we've been communicating, and revising that in some way. Mercury retrograde really just means that we're going back over an area that we've already covered and we're getting a second chance. Simple as that. But with these 2 signs moving into Libra, this kind of once again intensifies the T-square between planets in Libra, Mars in Aries, and everything in Capricorn. In layman's terms, everything is tense right now. It's an awkward 4-way intersection where everyone is trying to go at the same time, but like no one's actually going. So nothing is getting done, but there's this tense energy. So with these 2 planets moving either forward into Libra or back into Libra, it's a shift in energy, a shift from the feminine, the receptive, to the masculine or the more assertive. And at the same time, this does add tension to an already tense, like, atmosphere in the sky. So yeah, so that's happening on Wednesday the 28th, both Venus and Mercury moving into Libra. And then on Halloween, aka the 31st, I think I mentioned this in a previous video, but this October we get 2 full moons. Some call it a blue moon. I think that there's actually a different definition of a blue moon, like it has to do with seasons and not months. But anyway, This month we had a full moon on the 1st and we have a full moon on the 31st. And both of these full moons are kind of shit shows. Our full moon on the 1st of October was in Aries, so the sun was in Libra. All full moons, the sun and the moon are opposite each other. And so on the 1st of October, we had the moon and Mars together opposite the sun. That's not good because it's aggressive, it's angry. The sun isn't even very happy in Libra, so it's like our emotions getting triggered and, anger taking over. And then this full moon on the 31st, coming up this week, is on the Scorpio-Taurus axis. And the thing is that in 2020, fixed signs are mostly a good thing. Really anything that's not a cardinal sign is a good thing. I say this because we have all of those planets in Capricorn and Mars retrograde in Aries. Really Mars is in Aries for 6 months this year, for half of 2020. But any planet that goes through a cardinal sign, the cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. But any planet that goes through one of those signs is going to be assaulted by all the planets in Capricorn and Mars and Aries. And so anything that's not those signs, so any of the other 8 signs, is normally a good thing. However, this full moon is also not good because we have Uranus in Taurus, and Uranus is about rebellion and upheaval and changing things up just to change them. There's a bit of a social visionary aspect to Uranus. And the thing is that yes, social revolution is good, change is good, rebellion can be really good. But with everything else going on in the sky right now, and a full moon, where the full moon and Uranus are like this in Taurus, exactly opposite the sun in Scorpio, there is this need to change, to mix things up, to rebel, to overthrow. And with everything else going on in the sky, all of that tension from the 4-way intersection that I just mentioned, it's a lot. There's a lot happening in the sky. I'm not saying this to scare you. I feel like I just recorded my November tarot predictions as well, and I feel like some of those readings were a little bit harsh, like, things suck right now. I don't know, honestly, like, this is a bit of a side note, but when it comes to astrology, I really try not to sugarcoat things and, put everything under the lens of love and light, because really, like, things suck sometimes. The astrology of the sky right now is not great. If you work with lunar magic, or you're familiar with the moon cycles and all of that, or you've listened to me on this YouTube channel, I always talk about how new moons are a time to manifest, to start new projects, to set intentions, and full moons are times of completion, of like the ultimate expression of something and releasing. And the moon cycles this October are so assaulted by everything else going on in the sky that these aren't really good times to do anything. Like, honestly, this full moon is kind of a time to like quietly let things go. It's not a time to like, have this grand show of like, I'm releasing, I am letting go. It's really time to just like quietly shut the door, Yeah, so on Halloween, we have a full moon, so we love the spooky vibes. And then as I mentioned, the sun is exactly opposite Uranus. So on this day, there is this desire to shift, to change, to mix things up. I'm not saying go for it. I'm not saying don't go for it. I'm just saying on this day, you will have a desire to change things up. And since Uranus is opposite the sun, it's usually something related to yourself. You might want to change the way that you dress. You might want to change the way that you relate to others or express yourself. You may want to change like your entire personality. Like, you can do whatever you want on this day, but there's just kind of this like uneasy energy that needs to shift and needs to change. And with a full moon on the same day, like, that energy is at an all-time high, like, must change, Our battery is charged up and we're ready to go. If you do decide to make some changes on this day, or act out, or rebel, or revolt in some way, just make sure you're safe. Sorry, that was like a really anticlimactic statement. And then our last aspect for this week is on Sunday the 1st, and we have Mercury square Saturn. We've already had this aspect, but now that Mercury is retrograde and moving back into Libra, it is now interacting or dialoguing with all of the planets in Capricorn. So on this day, there's our sense of communication versus rules and restrictions. You will feel like your voice is being silenced. You will feel like you can't get your words out. This day, it might be like technical issues, or like, for example, on this day, you might be going to vote and you're Dropbox has been closed or has been moved. You know, it's like that kind of energy of like you're trying to speak but the words aren't coming out. You're trying to express yourself, you're trying to share your message with the world, and it's not coming out. Or you feel limited or restricted, whether by external sources or internal perspectives that you put onto it, like, oh, I can't talk like that because I don't have that kind of personality, or no one cares what I have to say. Anytime that we have Mercury square Saturn, communication is challenged. What I would say for this day, it's a one-day aspect. This isn't like a week-long or month or year-long thing that you need to plan for or like take super seriously. But just know that on Sunday the 1st, you may feel restricted in your speech, and you may, I don't know, just need to choose your words a little bit more carefully and be very conscious about when and where you communicate. So yeah, that's the astrology of this week. There's a bit of an energy shift and then kind of this buildup of energy on Halloween. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like something big is gonna happen on Halloween this year, like collectively, like a big protest, a big revolution or rebellion, or some truth. Because I think that Uranus is usually associated with the truth coming out and fighting for the truth. So there could be something related to that on a personal level. This is just a desire to change and wanting to change but not knowing how. I wouldn't recommend doing any magic on this day if you do lunar magic, but if you are, be safe and be aware of this aspect. But anyway, all that to say that this week energy is shifting. We reach a peak on Saturday on Halloween, and then the next day there's kind of this like tension of like not being able to get your words out in the way that you want to. So fun times ahead. Yeah, let's grab some oracle cards so we can chat about some advice and words of wisdom for this intense week to come. All right, I have our 3 cards for this week. The first one is simply inhale, exhale. I love this. It is simple, to the point. It's all we need. Take some time this week to focus on your breath. Even if you're just like sitting on the couch watching TV, take a moment, like I'm preparing myself to breathe, but take a moment and just like take that moment. I don't need to say anything else about this one. Actually, I'm going to say something else about this. Pay attention to your breath. I feel like it can teach you a lot. Yoga and meditation are really just about listening to your breath. And lately in yoga, I've been loving just paying attention to how my breath feels in different poses. For example, when I go into a twist, how does my breath feel then? When I'm laying on my back with my chest open, how does like my diaphragm, stretched out? How does that feel? When I'm in a forward fold and my diaphragm is contracted, how does the breath move then? But yeah, take some time this week. Inhale, exhale, pay attention to your breath. Meditation doesn't need to be this like serious, intensive practice. Focusing on the breath and being mindful of it doesn't need to be this like punishment or something that you force yourself to do. It can be as simple and organic as just taking a really deep breath. So this week, take some time to breathe. Next, you are always shifting. I think this is really perfect since we have 2 planets changing signs this week. Like I mentioned, Mercury and Venus are moving into Libra. I feel like I talked about this as if it's like a completely negative thing, like, oh man, these planets moving into Libra are totally gonna get assaulted by Mars and Aries and everything in Capricorn, and like, it's all bad, it's, so terrible, like 2020, am I right? But the thing is that you are always shifting. Shifts are not always positive. Shifts are not always negative either. They're not really inherently good or bad. Like, we're always shifting, we're always changing. And the more that you allow yourself to shift, the easier those transitions are. If you resist it, if you wish that things were different than the way they were, if you romanticize the past, or like become anxious about the future of like, I wish things were the way that they were, I don't want to know what's coming, or I need the future to be here now because I don't like waiting. The shifts in the present moment tend to be a lot more uncomfortable. So if you can this week, take some time, breathe, like the other card said, and sit with yourself. Understand that you are shifting, you are always shifting, and that's okay. It's natural, and it's the way that the world is. It's the way that we live, I guess. And then finally, I have make the best of it, which I think is really perfect with Halloween this year. I feel like as we're getting into fall and winter and these holidays where we're supposed to be like going out and celebrating with our friends and family, we don't have those, and that's really challenging. But more so on the astrology of this day, we have a tumultuous and unpredictable full moon. Our country right now is in a state that's very unpredictable. This is coming a few days before the election. The sky, astrologically, is just kind of challenging right now. The world is challenging. It's not really productive. It's pretty destructive. And everything feels like it kind of sucks right now. And I'm not saying this to be negative. I'm not saying this to bring you down. I'm simply pointing out the fact that the world is not preferable in this moment. That's all there is to it. And at the same time, you can make the best of it. Do what you can, take care of yourself, and do what you need to do for yourself. Sorry, I feel like that got so negative and so sad, and I hate to end on like such a bummer note, but please take care of yourself. Make the best of this time. Make the best of any situation you're in. You are always shifting. Remember that it's okay and natural and organic to shift. Making the best of shifting is the easiest way to get through it. And take some time. All right, and let's take one more breath together because I feel like I just let out a lot of negativity. So let's inhale and exhale. All right. That's all I have for today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming to another video. I hope you enjoyed the forecast this week. I hope you learned something. If you like me going back to the old format, let me know down in the comments. Also, please leave a like and subscribe if you aren't already. And if you want to see me in other places, I'm on Instagram at AstroAbs, and I'm on TikTok at AstroAbs3. I don't post on social media a lot, but you're welcome to follow me if you would like. And I will see you guys later. Bye.